We'll be taking a look in this video on how to make these adorable graduation macarons. I have two of my kids graduating. My oldest daughter is graduating university as an engineer, and my youngest son is graduating high school. So one of the things that I did make this week was macarons in the shape of little graduates, and I had quite a few requests for a video. So let's walk through what I actually did to put these little guys together. There are really only 4 simple ingredients in making a macaron. It's almond meal, powdered sugar, egg whites, and castor sugar. So what I like to do is I like to buy a big bag of almond meal and pre-sift it, removing all the large lumps. Then I can store it in a Ziploc bag and it's ready to go next time I want to make some macarons. So the first step is actually to mix the almond meal with some powdered sugar. Sift that through to get rid of all the lumps, and then we're going to move on to making the meringue. So I like to start by beating the egg whites a little bit slower till it gets nice and frothy, at which time then I will gradually add the sugar. If you don't have castor sugar, you can use regular sugar, but because the grains are a little bit bigger, stay whisking at a slower speed so it has time to dissolve the grains. We want to whip that up to firm peaks and remove it from the mixer. So now we want to combine the two. We're going to start by just using half of the almond mixture and folding that through, scraping around the bowl. Then we're going to add the other half. So to incorporate the rest of the almond mix, we just want to scrape around the edges now and then, pressing the batter against the side of the bowl to get rid of the large air bubbles. We don't want to take it too far because as we add the food coloring, you'll see that we are going to keep folding and it's going to take us to the right consistency. We want to get the large bubbles out, but we want to leave it an aerated, dense batter which flows slowly like lava. Okay, so inside your piping bag, you can actually add multiple colors if you want a mottled macaron. Here I've added 2 colors into the same bag, but for today we'll be using single colors in each piping bag. So for the graduate macarons, I've got a green, blue, and purple. Snip off the end of the piping bag and pipe your dots. I'm using a silicone mat, but if you don't have one, that's fine. You can actually use parchment paper. If you want to give yourself a guide by having little circles printed underneath the parchment paper, that'll help. So I'm just going to speed it up a little bit because it takes a while to pipe. For the feet, I'm actually just dolloping 2 little blobs at the bottom, as you can see here. Don't worry, it is actually going to flow into the macaron somewhat as it rests. You can sort of get creative. I wanted to add some little arms to some of these cookies to see what it would look like. I actually quite like that, so that's very cute. So make sure when you do add arms, you have to add arms to an even number of your cookies so that you have, the front and the back. So I'm going to move on to the other colors and do the same thing. This mixture is a little bit thicker, so what I'm going to do is just, if it's on a tray, you can tap the tray. Otherwise, you can just shake the mat a little bit here just to get it to flow and have the mixture flatten a little. 2 things you can do is after you shake it, you'll notice some bubbles that come to the surface. You can poke them with a little toothpick, and you can use a wet finger to flatten any peaks. I generally don't bother. I leave it as it is. If you want them to be perfectly smooth, you can do that. Okay, so complete your little people. Like I said, just make sure that you have a front and a back for each, and you have a cute sun that's actually getting creative on the corner of the mat. Leaving them on the table to rest for 20 minutes before you bake them helps them to dry out and rise a little bit better. So this has been 20 minutes at 140 degrees Celsius. I got a bit of brown color on the cookies because my oven was running a little hot, so you'll have to test your temperature at home. And I'm just using black food coloring and a paintbrush to paint on little faces. These guys get little Baymax style faces, and the other ones, little smiley ones. So I searched the house. I had some milk chocolate. I'm going to melt that in the microwave. Make sure the mixture is nice and smooth before you pop it in your piping bag. And we do want it to thicken a little bit as it cools down in the piping bag so that it can hold on our graduation hats. All right, so we're going to stir that. Make sure there's no lumps left in the mixture. Once you're happy with your consistency, go and grab yourself a piping bag and get that inside. All right, so I'm going to fill them with buttercream, but get creative. You can actually use Nutella or just ganache or curd, but I'm just going to pipe this buttercream inside. It's one of my favorite fillings. and then choose a matching side and pop it together. Are they looking cute? Oh my goodness. They are almost too cute to eat. Almost. So we're going to pipe on a generous dollop of chocolate which will hold on the after dinner mint for the graduation hat. There we go. And finished with a little edible gold leaf for the tassel. You can pick that up at Amazon.com or your local gourmet food store. While I'm piping on the other hats, I just wanted to mention once your macarons have been filled, you should leave them to rest in the fridge for 24 hours so that the filling gets a chance to soften the cookies. For serving, just pull them out of the fridge an hour beforehand so they get a chance to come to room temperature. Aren't they adorable, my army of graduation macarons? I hope you enjoyed the video. Give them a try. Let me know how you go. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.